I told Jan that I would put up a video while she was back in Missouri. Since she will be rejoining me in a couple of days, I thought I should probably get on the project. We've had this trip interrupted a couple of times since leaving Texas. Jan went back to Missouri for a conference and to get some grandbaby time, and we had a death in the family that called us both back home in late February. We have managed to see a number of interesting sights while wandering around over the Southwest this winter. We visited national parks, historical sites, a few tourist attractions, and some just plain weird places along the road. The intent of this video is to give you a quick preview of some of the places we visited, with the hope that sometime in the near future we will do longer, more in-depth videos of our select favorite stops along the road. So this is a short synopsis of where we have been, what we have done since you last heard from us in San Antonio, Texas. Make sure you like the video and or comment below so that Jan will know that I have been working in her absence and not just sitting on the beach in Southern California. Oh, and there won't be a reflection section at the end of this video. I don't do solo reflecting. Honestly, I tried it and it sounded stupid. I need Jan's help and input for this sort of thing, which can be said about most everything in my life. See you again soon.
We're Jan and Marvin, and brown signs are our favorite. What do brown signs mean? Yes, recreation. But for us, we prefer recreation. Every day a new opportunity to learn, grow, and appreciate.
We left San Antonio, Texas on January the 27th and headed across West Texas toward Big Bend National Park. Big Bend is a very unique park. It borders the Rio Grande on the south side and nothing but wide open space on the north side. We arrived near the end of a recent government shutdown, so there were limited services available, including campgrounds. But at least it was warmer. We enjoyed the scenery and especially the history. We'll have to go back someday when the government is in order. From Big Bend, we drove to Guadalupe National Park and spent the night there. Not a big park, but interesting mountains, and it looks like there would be some great hiking. A short drive north of Guadalupe is Carlsbad Caves. Awesome place. Although we have not spent a lot of time in caves, this is one that is just unbelievable. We were there too early for the baths. They were still wintering on the beach in Mexico. We took the self-guided tour and were awestruck by the underground beauty. In October of last year, we visited Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. Although I understand that it is a different type of cave, we found Carlsbad to be far more spectacular. White Sands National Park in New Mexico was the next stop. The park is the largest collection of gypsum sand dunes in the world. We didn't spend much time there, but we were there long enough to play in the sand and cool off a bit. It's a place everyone should visit. We left there and drove up into the Oregon mountains where we found a great campsite overlooking the White Sands Missile Range. Our next stop was Quartzsite. Not sure why we had to stop in Quartzsite, but we spent the night on BLM land just outside of the town and then visited High Jolly's tomb. Look that up if you want to know more about him. Hint, it has something to do with camels. We also walked through one of the many flea markets they have, and Quartzsite is a mecca for RVers. They come by the thousands. I think it's for the free camping, otherwise there isn't much in town to draw a crowd. Because someone wanted to see Bisbee, Arizona, we left New Mexico and took an 80-mile side trip across the Arizona desert to the Mexico border. Bisbee is a quaint old mining town that would remind those of you from the Midwest of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, except that Bisbee has a 1,000-foot hole right in the middle of downtown. We can recommend the Bisbee Breakfast Company for breakfast. We spent the night in a nearby Harvest Host called Thunder Mountain Alpaca Farm. Nice people, adorable furry animals, and Jan wanted to adopt one. "24 miles down the road from Bisbee is Tombstone. If you have a yearning to know the story behind the gunfight at the OK Corral, then you should visit Tombstone, where you can hear about a dozen variations of that story. The town is actually more than just a tourist stop. There's a lot of interesting history. We found plenty of things to do in the 2 days we spent there, including a tour of the Good Enough Mine. The Courthouse tour has a great museum. In fact, it is about the only building in that town that has never burnt down. And of course, you need to see the reenactment of the shootout. The one site I wanted to see near Tucson was the Titan Missile Museum. This is the only Titan missile site left in the U.S., and it is a great museum and tour. It will give you a complete new perspective on what was going on in the world in the early 60s. The tours are led by former military personnel assigned to the site, and they have the stories. Lots of them. Amazing place.
Plus of them. First, we launched 51 of them out of Vandenberg Air Force Base in California for test reliability. And NASA, like their launch capability, their lift capability so well, they bought 12 of them and used them for the Gemini program. Neil Armstrong took his first ride on space on the Titan II.
The Saguaro National Park is split into two sections, one on the east side of Tucson and the other on the west side of Tucson. We visited the west side and learned everything we ever wanted to know about cacti. They have a great visitor center and several trails leading through the desert. I thought Joshua Tree National Park was all about the Joshua trees. There is much more. The landscape is otherworldly. Great campgrounds amongst humongous boulders. We were there for the beginning of a rare super bloom of flowers. Definitely a place we will go back to.